Hi there, kindergartners and kindergarten parents. This is Mrs. McCamick, and I am going to do a review lesson actually for the kindergartners, and it's kind of an info commercial for you parents. I wanted to go over what we talked about each time that we looked at a letter in kindergarten and kind of remind you why we do that. We do letters, of course, in kindergarten because it's an integral part, actually the foundation of literacy. It's the beginning of literacy. So we learn each letter. We learn the ABC song, and I've already sent you lots of different versions, and probably some of you know some others, and if you have a favorite that I haven't sent you, please send it to me, a version of the ABC song. The first thing that we learn about each letter is the name of the letter. So when we see this card and this symbol, and we call it a symbol, we call that the letter A. And that's very important as we spell and as we learn our names and as we get further into literacy. But even much more important than that is the sound of the letter A. And the letter A has two sounds, but at the beginning of the year we only talk about one sound, and that is the short sound, and that is the ah, ah, ah sound. Now for that special sound, the ah, ah, ah sound, and for every letter in the alphabet we have these cards. These are called sounds the letters make, and this one we all laugh at every day because we say it like this: accidents happen, accidents happen, ah, 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 ah. So when the boys and girls say to you, A says ah, 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 they are learning, putting a hook on it and learning that the short A sound is ah. As we get further into it, they will also learn that you can make it in a shorter sound. We also learned that the ah sound comes sometimes at the beginning of a word, and sometimes in the peanut butter and jelly in the middle, and maybe you've heard your kindergartner talk like that. The next thing we learn is how to make it and where it lives. And to do that, we use this helper. We call it our writing helper. It's a house. It has an upstairs, a downstairs, and a basement. And each time we look at a new letter and its sound, we look at it carefully. We look at the uppercase and the lowercase. We look at the uppercase, and if we're looking at the uppercase A, we say, oh, look at that. The uppercase A lives upstairs and downstairs. So when we make the letter A, we start at the top, and we make a slant line down and a slant line down, and we give him a belt. And that's exactly how I say it in class. So it's slant line down, give him a belt. And we are looking for very neat endings. And sometimes I say, if you make a messy A like this, and it's the right size, but he's got wild hairs, he needs to take care of those wild hairs. That's not what we're looking for. So the uppercase A lives upstairs and downstairs. And then we look at the lowercase a. The lowercase a lives downstairs only, and it's made up of a fat round circle and a straight stick just barely touching. And that's exactly how I teach it. Fat round circle and a straight stick just barely touching. And when you say things like that in a rhythm or a rhyme, it helps the boys and girls remember how those letters are designed and how they should make it. If you look at the letter A, it's a good example. The reason I chose that is because it shows us all the different strokes that go together to make all the letters. So if your kindergartner is doodling or something, you could say, make some vertical lines. And I use that terminology, vertical lines. Or make some horizontal lines. Oh, can you make a curlicue and a curved line? Curve line, curve line, curve line, curve line, curve line, and it turns into kind of a curlicue. Or you can make a slanted line. Slanted line. Either way. And they quickly find out that that turns into an X. So we learn the name of the letter, A. The sound of the letter, the short vowel, is A. We learn where it lives, upstairs and downstairs. And we also learn whether it's a consonant or a vowel. The first 5 letters that we learn are the vowels. A, E, I, O, U are called the vowels. Some of you may have learned that Y is sometimes a vowel, and that's true, but we learned the first 5, A, E, I, O, U, because they are always vowels. And we just kind of camp out on that they're always vowels. And as we get into the rest of the letters, we learn some interesting things about the other letters. But it's important that the boys and girls know those 5, A, E, I, O, U. One of their assignments to finish was their vowel hand. So they were supposed to trace their hand, and on their fingers, they were to make the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. We say that every day, and I have a special one, and they're trying to mimic that one, so I have my little hand that says A, E, I, O, U are called the vowels. A, E, I, O, U are called the vowels. Again, we give them rhythm and rhyme to help them put a hook in it and to keep it for their very own. That's really important with early learners. Letters are the building blocks of our language. They're the beginning, like I said, of literacy. And I know at the get started night, I don't even know what we called it this year, not a curriculum night and not an open house, but it was our getting started night. I said that letters go together to make sounds, and sounds go together to make words, and words have meaning. We're trying to help them to learn that if you say this, apple, that's a group of letters that all have different sounds, and it goes together, and we know that an apple is this. So we try to take them through those steps strategically. After they get a hold of their words, they'll start making sentences. And in our red rainbow words, we have I and like, and I and see, and I and go. Or go is I think in the orange words, but very soon they'll be able to make sentences. I like chocolate. I see Suzy Q. I like this, or I like that. At this point, the words help them to tell their stories, and they're starting to remember that those letters, that letter cat, that word cat has an They drew Pete the cat in art class. We talked about Amelia's pet cat, and I also have a cat hat. And this one helps us. We say A says ah, like in cat. And we talk about that the ah sound is in the middle, in the peanut butter and jelly. It does. Cat doesn't start with an ah, and it doesn't end with an ah, but it sure is in the middle, and we say it, and we elongate it, and we emphasize that ah sound in the center at this point. Later on, they'll get so good at it, they don't have to do it. We have hats for lots of different things. We have 5 vowel hats, which we have for the vowels. So if they talk about Mrs. McCamick's look like an elephant, it's because I was wearing the short E hat, and here's the elephant hat. So E says like an elephant, E says like an elephant. And if you're watching it all during our online teaching, you're seeing me act very silly sometimes, but it helps them to enjoy learning and learn to love to learn. And I want them to learn to love to read and learn to love words and letters. And learning the letter sounds is the beginning of that thing. So we talk about that each day. We look at a new letter. We have talked about A. A says A. Accidents happen. So if I say, we're going to say the sound cards, we're going to say those. We're going to say icky, sticky fingers. I, I, I. Did you notice that I didn't say the name of that letter at all on that card? Because we're doing letter sounds. And those are very different things, and I want them to understand that those are two very different things. And then elephants, elevator, elephants, elevator. Eh, 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 eh. It has a sound and a rhyme and a motion, and it helps them. But when we look at this one, we say, E says eh, like in elephant. So we named it, and we gave the sound. A says ah, like in apple. I says I, like in igloo. We said the name and the sound of all of those. So as we're going through the alphabet, and we'll go through all the letters, so you'll be hearing them say all kinds of different crazy things for the letters. Listen and ask them, is that the name or is that the sound? And where does that letter live? Does it live upstairs or downstairs? Does it go into the basement? Ask them, making them be strategic thinkers about those things. And as they get a hold of these letters, and as they get them under control and put them in their pocket, so to speak, of what they know, those words and those sounds will help them to tell their stories and eventually read their stories, and then finally we hope that they become authors and write their stories. So encourage them to tell you and draw their stories and talk about their pictures. Talk about, I sent you the Lego challenge, the monthly Lego challenge. Have them talk about what they're building. Have them talk about and listen for as and if. On each letter day, I will send home an assignment, which is the donut scavenger hunt around your house. That is something to help the boys and girls to focus in on sounds, and that they're all around us everywhere, and that we use them all the time to make the words that we use to communicate with one another. So I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of what we do. This is a review for the boys and girls. They know all this stuff. I hope that they watch this and help you understand what we're talking about. We also do lots of things that start with the letters. You might find some insects around your house. I says I, like in insect. Or you might see an elephant in your backyard. Or if you live closer to Florida, you might see an alligator. Alligator. We try to give them every opportunity to hear and see and realize that sounds and letters are all around us, and they're a very important part of the life that we live. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, give me a call. Have the boys and girls watch this carefully with you and explain some of the things that I talked about that maybe you don't understand. Have them be the teacher and help you. I hope this is the first of several review lessons that I give to the boys and girls and bring to you about what we're doing in kindergarten. Have a nice evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.